Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here from the Performance Lab of California, and we have a new video for you today on Dak Prescott and his warm-up that he did on Sunday night. This has been getting a lot of attention overall in the quarterback world, a little bit of a funky type of a warm-up, but we want to go over some of the things that are good about it, some of the things that you want to be careful about, and just give you some overall better information about what is going on with the throw, warm up, dance. There's a lot of memes. There's a lot of different things that are going on that are kind of funny. So anyway, the big focus is on the hip and shoulder disassociation. So what that means is that you can see that as he's going and really getting those hips to pull around, right? He's really keeping the shoulder pulled back, and the concept of the hip and shoulder disassociation was really made famous by Tom House, who is Tom Brady's quarterback coach, Drew Brees' quarterback coach. I think there's a lot of guys that have hopped on the bandwagon since then, but those were like the two main guys that started. He was actually more of a baseball guy first, baseball guru. He talked a lot about this hip and shoulder disassociation, where the hips are going one way and the shoulders are going the other way, and there's a certain amount of stretch that puts on the core here, and if you can achieve certain levels of certain angles of disassociation, it really helps you in developing overall velocity. And it seems like what Dak is working on is a combination of really being able to maximize his force, how much force he's able to generate, and also a combination of how fast he's able to generate that force, right? Because he's really trying not to step too much as he's going. He just wants to be able to immediately get that hip going to make it so he can create that rotation and still load in his arm, right? And so what I would just be careful in when you're doing this type of a drill is making sure, because I'll see this as well, where guys have that push off that back leg, and they're really trying to get the hips to open up. The issue is that if there's not very much overall forward movement during the throw, then the drill doesn't work as well as if you do get forward movement during the throw or during the drill. So what I mean by that is that he's already almost naturally getting it because his body's moving forward, but when he's pushing himself, see how he pushes right there and see how his hips move forward? Okay, that means that he's actually shifting his weight forward. So he's using his back leg to push his weight this way. If you just try to pivot this back leg, so go from here to here, and you don't actually push and get any weight going there, now the overall drill becomes significantly less valuable as a warm-up for a quarterback. So you really want to be able to focus on, really pushing your weight and generating that force off the back leg. That's, I would say, is one of the biggest things that I see with quarterbacks, is that they just don't generate very much force off that back leg. And it's just because of how the limit of just being able to push off there the right way. I think that he does a good job of kind of pivoting and pushing his weight forward, but you could also see how stable he is on this front leg as he's pushing, right? So he's going to be very, very strong here. And then the next thing that would end up happening in the sequence, obviously, is that he would come up and over with the throw. And you want to really be able to sync this up correctly, where you're getting your hips to come around, and not very long after. With pitchers, you have a little bit more time where you can get those hips to kind of go around, and you can put a little bit bigger stretch on the upper body and then throw from there. There's a couple reasons for that. One is that, as a pitcher, you're not impacted very much from a timing perspective, right? You can kind of take as long as you need to get the ball out of your hands. As a quarterback, you don't really have that luxury. The other thing is that they are coming from a mound. So when they're stepping downwards like this, where as a quarterback, you're on an even surface. So you're not going to be able to step as much downwards, or downwards really at all. You're on an even surface. So those are some of the reasons why you're able to get a little bit more disassociation, and also a bigger step, right? As a quarterback, there's only so big of a step you can get, again, because of that decline that you get there. So really being able to get that front foot down in the ground, and then from there be able to get that push, because notice how he gets that front foot down, and then now he's pushing. And once you get those hips to come around, point being is from the sequencing process, once you get those hips to come around, not very long after, your elbow should be coming up and through. Okay, so right now he's over-exaggerating this hip and shoulder disassociation, but when he actually throws, he doesn't have this big of a separation because, you know, it just wouldn't work out timing-wise. So if you do too much of this where you're too far open with your hips and your elbows too far back behind you, essentially where he's at right now, you would actually be starting to do damage to your actual throw. So as you start to open those hips up right here, your arms should be coming through to deliver the throw, especially if you're throwing underneath. When you're throwing those deeper routes, you can get away with a little bit more hip and shoulder disassociation, but just remember that you want to be able to be in sync with that back foot to then push off and get your weight going and your momentum going with the lower body, and then not very much after, you get the rotation to happen in the core, and then you get the ball to come up overhead. So there's that whole sequence of movements that want to happen in order to maximize your throw. All right, if you guys have any questions, let me know. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. As always, go ahead and check out some of our throw program stuff. We have a thing going right now where it's 99 cents to get started for 7 days. Try out some of the stuff that we're doing. And or we also have a thing where you can schedule a free consultation, a free call with me to kind of discuss your goals, see what you want to get going for the off season. So would be happy to talk to any of you guys about that, and you know, hopefully get you guys going for the off season, because of the you know, it's right around the corner now. So let's get it rocking and rolling. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching these videos, and we'll talk soon.